Good morning. News 1 Now starts right now. But I have to ask you this one super duper quick question, so if you can answer super quickly. Honestly, when I appreciate your work on this case, but when I see you, I still think of George Zimmerman. I still think Trayvon Martin. And I'm wondering, is your stepping up to the plate to help this family in some way a mea culpa for what many of us around the country see as a gross injustice as it relates to the Trayvon Martin case? I'm the mother of 2 black sons. Okay, one 20, one who will be a teenager in a couple of weeks. And every time I see these images on television with dead black men in the street bleeding, I know that could be my son. So you think the people in his rallies that were saying, build the wall, were thinking metaphorically at that time? Black women are the most ambitious demographic group in America. We're more likely than anyone else to say that we want a promotion. We're the most likely women to say that we want to advance to executive leadership positions. Yet when it comes to who actually gets those positions, we are severely underrepresented. The people who have, unfortunately, I would say, benefited most from the sort of fixation on diversity efforts in our current dynamic isn't anyone of color. It's mainly white women. So even though we want to achieve, we're not the ones who are actually getting those positions. I kind of understand it because he's trying to get back into the good graces of his university. He's trying to sort of do some damage control at this point. But the people behind him, there is freaking no excuse for that. Let's be very real about this. I am so tired of Negroes standing there giving white racists cover for their racist actions. It does, and what's particularly dangerous about that is that he's rather young. He's in his 40s, so he could be on the court for another 30 years. And just to harken back to your previous question about being an originalist, you know, I do not believe that that is what we need in 2017. If we were to interpret the Constitution in its original form, then I would be considered 3/5 of a human being.
That he wants to be a law and order candidate. Many of us that have memories that don't have to go back too far, we know exactly what that means. That means lethal force, that means cracking heads, that means a very dangerous thing, particularly to black people. Racial profiling. He's someone who says he wants to move forward with stop and frisk, despite the fact that it's unconstitutional and it doesn't work. And so this is someone who, to me, is talking about putting forth potentially lethal policies against my son and against many of you out there sitting here today. You know, this is nothing that is just theoretical to me. These are literal life and death issues.
Some people don't know this. Politicians know these numbers very well. That's why we have the attack on voting rights that we've experienced. The idea is that if I can't win the majority, I will take away their power to vote. I saw a couple of years ago where the president signed an executive order that required government contractors to actually pull open the books so they could actually see what people are paid by race and gender. And I think it's very important to make that distinction because yesterday was not my equal pay day. For black women, our equal pay day doesn't come until August, towards the end of August, August 23rd. So let's keep it real. Even though we are...
First of all, explain to anybody who's watching why you say August 23rd.
Because that's how long a black woman has to work into 2016 to make on par what white men earn in 2015. Exactly. That's how much further we have to work into the new year.
April 12th is white women's equal pay.
That's correct. Yeah, it's the overall. Correct. And if you look at, for example, the data that you just mentioned about 60 cents to the dollar, that's 60 cents to the dollar when compared to white men. When compared to white women, now, white women, we make only 77 cents to the dollar. So there is both a race and a gendered aspect to this. So pulling back the cover so that we can actually see how people are paid across both race and gender is extremely critical. Just sort of leveling the playing field by gender really does not really do everything that needs to be done in terms of making sure that people are paid fairly. This is not the first time. I mean, how many instances and how many millions of dollars will they pay out to protect a serial sexual harasser? Let's just say who he is. He is a serial sexual harasser. And the reason why the president didn't see anything, oh my God, that's the first time I've used that term with him. The reason why he did not see anything wrong with that behavior is because it's his behavior. He's the same one who said that it's okay to just grab a woman by her genitals. So if he's all right himself being a sexual predator, he's going to protect other sexual predators.